Good afternoon and welcome to the Lunchtime Series with me, Kevin Britz, leading the charge with insights, information, and ultimately effective results. Joining me today is marketing and leadership segment, marketing and communications expert and co-host Craig Page-Lee. How are you doing, Craig?
Yeah, Kevin, I'm great, thank you. Enjoying the second burst of winter we had, unannounced, but thoroughly enjoy the crisp, clear air. Well, actually not so clear, but the crisp air. How are you doing on this, our first show, believe it or not, of October 2024, Kevin? And, I was doing a little calculation. That leaves us about 11, maybe 12 shows to go before we wrap up the series for the year.
Yeah, no, I'm well. There's some serious good things heading in my direction, so I'm
fantastic.
I'm very proud I can't really say about it because it's supposed to appear when it appears. But I'm very happy that things are moving in the right direction. But I've completely fallen into the conspiracy theory that South Africa's weather is being controlled now, Craig. I was like, it's in the history of my 45 years, do I remember snow like in October? Like I've never heard of it. Like I don't remember any time like that happening.
Well, everything's controlled in this country, so it wouldn't surprise me if it was the weather as well. Not necessarily by the right people at that.
Exactly. Craig, so as we start today's show, what are the reminders points from last week's conversation?
Yeah, Kevin, last week we covered the topic of the importance of middle management, and the discussion centered around the article I came across on entrepreneur.com, which was titled, "Don't Neglect Your Middle Managers. Here's why they are key to your company's success." The article was written by Ian White and edited by Chelsea Brown and was published on the 14th of November 2023, and it addressed sort of four main focus areas, namely, how do middle managers actually drive company success? What are the challenges that middle managers face? How to support your middle managers and set them up for success, really important point, and how to measure the impact of middle managers. And the key takeout from the discussion on middle managers was this, Kevin: the link between senior managers and lower levels, they are the link between senior managers and lower levels of the organization, and they report valuable information and suggestions from the outside of an organization into that senior management layer. They're also in charge of implementing the guidelines established in the strategic planning process by top level managers, and they're the key channel of communication within the organization, in that they feed more executive decisions and the main goals of an organization to the lower level employees. And obviously with this layer in place, it can bring much better coordination between the workers to bear. And finally, the primary responsibility of middle managers is to implement the strategies created by that exec level in the most efficient way possible.
Yeah, it's a really interesting conversation and really some great insights around middle management and the importance of it. Guys, if you want to see that, check it out on the Lunchtime Series and all major podcast channels. But Craig, what are we up for? What's up for discussion today?
Yeah, Kevin, we're starting the new month with shift from our month of covering management and leadership related topics to a month of marketing, media, and communications related topics. And as we're in the last quarter of the year, I've noted that many organizations are already talking about the key marketing trends that are going to impact their brands in 2025. So I thought, let's have a look at what some of those are out there. And I was actually really surprised by the number of topics I came across on this, at least the number of articles that I came across on this topic already. I did not expect to see as many. Some reference unique points of view, and the majority of those highlight the common themes of AI, data, voice, and video, Kevin. That said, the article that I want to actually cover in our conversation today is titled "Digital Marketing Trends for 2025, Key Insights from Technology for Marketing." And I came across the article on the insight section of dusted.com. But to quickly set some context for our listeners, Dusted are a specialist strategic brand and digital agency, and they work with some of the world's most ambitious, innovative, and game-changing brands and businesses. Their core service pillars are focused on three areas of business performance, and I like this. It's just pure play strategy, brand, and digital, and they position themselves as energizing brand performance. Nice positioning that.
Great, yeah, and I'm looking forward to jumping into these trends because we have been covering trends, especially in the marketing space, in the leadership space, in a number of spaces that we actually discuss on the show, and it's ever evolving. It's we're tapping into the ever evolving sort of trends that's happening in the world in business. So yeah, let's dive right into that. I'm excited.
Yeah, I like what you said, because trends is a common theme through all of our conversations. We're picking up on key trends that are driving decision making, whether in real time or for the future space. So yeah, the article addresses 5 key digital marketing trends for 2025, Kevin. These emerging from the recent Technology for Marketing, TMF 2024 conference. And the key trends are listed as follows. The first being from the what to the why. The second is building trust and personalization at scale. The third is simplifying strategies for better results. The fourth is bridging the AI skills gap, important point. And the fifth is the ethical use of data and personalization. And we've definitely touched on 2 or 3 of those this year in different conversations. But before we discuss each of the trends listed, I think it's worth us sharing the opening paragraph with our listeners, Kevin. And the paragraph reads as follows. Unlike last year, where fear of AI and looming cookie apocalypse dominated the conversation, this year's conference took on a more grounded tone. Attendees were no longer anxiously scribbling notes about the end of marketing as we know it. Instead, they were looking forward, confident in their abilities to embrace new technologies and eager to share actionable insights. And I really love the fact that it's telling us that the marketing industry has settled in, embracing technology and looking forward to how to use it effectively to drive better performance for their organizations and brands.
But and I'm glad that we're chatting about it, okay? Because there's almost been a bit of fear mongering around, how AI was going to do all of the this treacherous and replacement kind of narrative, and that a lot of people have been speaking about, but as we are seeing in real time, that's not factually the case. So it's going to be interesting to unpack this, because AI is there to enhance and not to take over to a large degree.
Yeah, Kevin. Again, I think before even getting into the 5 points, the reality of moderation and constant review of the evolution of AI and the implications, whether positive or negative, has to be in place. But yes, it's good to sense that some of that negativity has dissipated and that people are leaning into it and really getting to understand it in a more effective way. So let's look at the trends in more detail, and obviously starting from the first trend, which is the what to the why. And here we note that when generative AI tools like ChatGPT first appeared, they were definitely celebrated and accoladed for the ability to churn out content quickly and efficiently, whether it was good content or bad content, irrespective. What we have learned since though is that the novelty has worn off, and that there is a new focus in place. And this focus is actually how to use AI in ways that add value, not just to push out the work. And there was a really good quote from Heather Murray, who's the founder of AI for Non-Techies. I'm definitely going to follow more of her stuff because that's me. And Heather notes that as AI-generated content becomes more common, consumers are increasingly becoming more discerning and can recognize the lack of human touch in the content generated. And this comes back on the back of AI ease, which is the overused and predictable robotic language that was weakening brand credibility. And that's an important point, because a lot of brands did jump straight into the AI bandwagon and found themselves on the wrong side of AI content use. The article also notes that words like Delve, Tapestry, Landscape are clear markers of AI generated content. And that said, the real issue here isn't the use of AI, but actually how it's used. And alarmingly, 65% of consumers still trust brands that effectively integrate AI into the communication. So, that's definitely a signal that brands have to become more adept at understanding how to use it and be more effective in its use, because AI is something that consumers are more comfortable with. But it's also important to note that the problem doesn't lie with the technology, but actually with its inauthentic application. And, this definitely can be quite disastrous for brands, Kevin.
And Greg and I mean, I think we've spoken about it before, but when you do any search on ChatGPT, it literally says on the screen, ChatGPT can make mistakes. Please check your information, right? So, I think it touches on the inauthenticity, right? Part of, it's fine to want to use information and put it out there and help you put it out there quickly. But at least have the ability to speak to the information you're sharing. To just randomly pull it together and throw it on there and say, well, this is the truth of the matter. That's not, it's the authenticity that matters at the end of the day. That's what people.
And Kevin, that's the responsibility of the marketing teams, because all machine learning is about using the information of the past to bring it to a point in current time, not the future. It can't understand emotions and nuance to that extent. So marketing teams need to be able to step in and understand the validity of that information and see how it picks into the emotive construct and how it will connect with consumers, Kevin. And what's interesting here is that the trend one goes on to highlight the fact that the conversation has shifted from exploring AI's capabilities, which is the what, to understanding its strategic role in reinforcing a brand's core values, the why. And for me, that's probably the biggest focus area that we've got to be concentrating on in the near future, because it is reassuring to see our moving beyond trend following to supporting brands' missions and aligning with long-term brand purpose, etc. But it's really about understanding how that is adapted into pure brand speak, and how that brand speak resonates with the respective target audiences at the right time in the right way, Kevin. And for digital marketers looking ahead to 2025, the article notes the following key takeaway. AI isn't going anywhere, but to succeed, you must use it with purpose and intention. There it is. AI can be an incredible tool for streamlining and scaling processes, but it must always align with your brand's values. And that's not something AI can do. That's where the marketing team have to step in, the brand teams, and bring that personality and realness back into the equation.
But I think, Craig, what's interesting about AI, and I've tested this as well, is when you speak about brand values and really for AI to understand the brand, you can also teach the brand, you can also teach the AI how to be biased, right?
Yeah.
So depending on what information you're putting back into the aggregate of information, you can teach the AI how to hold values properly and kind of go make sure that this is in alignment with our values, make sure that this is in alignment with what we are saying we are doing, and if not, please point out the possible pitfalls that we're not noticing, right? Because as humans we can do that, but essentially you could do it with AI a lot faster. But the point is, it can be used, it can be taught on how to align messaging in the very specific way that you want it to land. So there's flip sides to it. There's both sides to this.
But you use the point biases, which is an interesting approach, because it could be a negative bias. So whilst you may be teaching AI what to say and verify against the word sets that are in your website and all the other marketing collateral, if they are intentionally biased in a negative way, AI is not going to pick that up, because AI is not taught what's right or wrong in this instance. AI also can't track and report on behaviors, because behaviors are something that happen in the real world. So there really is a finite point as to where AI is bringing value and what we need to do to take that value into another reality, Kevin. And it comes around, I think, as a nice segue into trend 2, because it's about building trust and personalization at scale.
Yeah.
And the report notes that trust and personalization recurred as a recurring theme throughout PMF 2024. So obviously, something that all marketers need to be cognizant of. And we all know that, to quote the article, consumers increasingly expect personalization. They expect seamless experiences across every channel, but the personalization must go beyond using someone's first name and a message. It needs to reflect a deep understanding of their needs and values of them as an individual in relation to the brand, Kevin. And we've mentioned personalization on a number of our shows the past few months. And what really stood out for me here is that personalization is now the baseline expectation that consumers want, and they're savvy enough to know that AI is crucial in making this happen. That said, one of the biggest challenges still lies in ensuring that personalization is authentic, going back to one of the words from the opening trend. And the article notes that the real danger comes when brands are using AI to generate shallow, meaningless interactions that feel detached from their core message, and that to build trust, the brands must offer personalization that actually resonates with customers on a much deeper level, and that obviously starts reinforcing the brand purpose again. But what I like about the closing statement of Trend 1 here is that Sophie Miller is the founder of Pretty Little Marketer, and Eleanor Hongenstein, excuse if mispronounced, of LinkedIn notes that the power of community engagement in building long-term customer loyalty and that personalization isn't just about individual interactions. It's about building a sense of community around your brand. And probably one of the most important examples cited in this particular reference is LinkedIn's algorithm, which prioritizes rich comments and genuine conversation over vanity metrics like likes and shares. And this means that for smaller brands to grow on social media, they really have to move beyond just broadcasting messages, and they actually need to start actively engaging with the audiences and having more of a dialogue, Kevin, and commenting, collaborating, sparking meaningful conversation will drive trust in a world where consumers value authentic two-way dialogue. AI can't do that.
Do you know, Craig, so, I mean, human behavior is my thing, and it's the thing I pay attention to most all the time. So very often you'll find on lives where you have a bunch of people just randomly, and I've watched a few of them who just do lives at night, and it's almost you speak about the building a sense of community around your brand, right? Now, some of these people are not outrightly brands, and they're not trying to create brands, but what you do get quite obviously from them is a sense of community. So I love the fact that that's sort of a big statement that brands should be aware of. But second to that, Craig, I mean, we've been doing, like I mentioned earlier, we've been doing it for a while now, and I think personalization has come up every single year already. What are some of the trends that's expected from brands, and personalization is one thing that stands out and comes up every time and again, that brands should do more of that and do better at it, which is really interesting.
And again, the core of the content and message theme is what AI can help with, but really unpacking the data and getting those nuances, personality aspects is something that the humans in the marketing teams and brand teams really need to step into.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Kevin, the third trend here is simplifying strategies for better results. And what we note here is that many marketers have found themselves trapped in this marketing task wheel. And, being close to the industry, I so understand this particular term, which is this endless loop of disjointed tasks driven by stakeholder demands. And that is a reality. This approach not only leads to burnout, but also results in lackluster outcomes from campaigns, Kevin. And this is clearly something that no brand can afford. Another reality that we've spoken about as well is that marketers are under constant pressure to do more. They need to increase their marketing activities. They need to stretch their marketing budgets. They need to achieve greater ROI. Probably one of the most difficult things at the moment. The consensus at the conference was that less is often more. And by simplifying your strategy to focus on few key objectives that align with your business goals can actually yield much better results than trying to be everything to everyone and being everywhere at once, Kevin. And, I always talk about the right message and the right medium, the right channel and the right technology at the right time. That's about it. You don't need to be everywhere at once. And we learned that this is especially true in B2B marketing, Kevin, where efforts are easily spread too thin across multiple platforms, and actually they offer zero ROI in that particular proposition. And the key takeout here for digital marketers looking ahead to 25 is marketers are encouraged to focus on quality over quantity, streamlining content production, narrowing focus to key channels, and targeting metrics that actually matter to your business will lead to better, more sustainable results.
Sorry, Craig, I'm just lost my line, like where I'm looking and reading at the same time. But yeah, I think the streamlining and and driving that narrative is because it also speaks to who are you and what are you about, right? And by honing that and really aligning to that, I think that's a very necessary approach to brand and what your brand strategy is about.
And it goes beyond just the marketing activities. It goes to the core of organizational performance and delivery. If you are working on too many projects, spreading your teams too thin, you're going to experience exactly the same burnout and failure points across the organization, Kevin.
Yeah, absolutely.
So the fourth trend is bridging the AI skills gap. And yeah, we note that AI has the potential to definitely revolutionize digital marketing, but there is still a huge skills gap that prevents marketers from fully leveraging AI and other such tools, not just AI. The article references a survey that highlighted the fact that 35% of businesses worry about the lack of technical skills in using AI to its full capacity to scale production of quality content. So there's 35 businesses that are at risk of actually having their competitors take a leap ahead of them because they're not geared up for use of technology and the likes of AI. Referencing Heather Murray again, Heather facilitated a session at Technology for Marketing 2024 conference, and she focused on how to prompt AI tools effectively. Heather not only broke down the 3 C's of prompting, that being character, context, and clarity, explaining how these elements are key to generating high quality AI content, but Heather also highlighted the limitations of AI, such as perplexity, how random or predictable content is, and burstiness, a lovely phrase, which looks at the variability in sentence length and structure. So those are definitely 2 terms for our listeners to go and lean into to really understand what they are. Perplexity, how random or predictable content is, and burstiness, the variable in sentence length and structure.
Okay, that's right above my pay grade. Burstiness, the variability in sentence length and structure. I'm definitely, I need to go check that out because that's massive.
Fascinating. So, but I think it's also important for listeners, irrespective again whether you're in the marketing teams or other content generating teams in the organization, thinking of the 3 C's of prompting. Get your character definition right, clearly define the context, and work to clarity around what that message intent is. And just going back to a point of earlier, try and eliminate all biases that you can.
Absolutely.
So Kevin, while there are common issues that result in AI generated content sounding repetitive or uninspiring, the solution, going back to what I said earlier, remains and lies in human oversight. And in this instance, marketers need to treat AI as a powerful assistant and not a replacement. Success with AI requires marketers to refine that content, prompt thoughtfully, ensure it aligns with the brand identity and tone of voice, something only the human intervention can achieve. For digital marketers looking ahead to 2025, the article notes here that bridging the AI skills gap will be critical. Marketers who can master the art of prompting and refining AI outputs will be able to produce content that is not only efficient, but also engaging and on brand.
Craig, but you just speak about AI, is there to support, and I think it comes back to the wings concept around critical thinking and creativity.
Yeah.
As it's the human's responsibility to kind of be the critical thinking creative behind that, and really making sure that the brands align to that constantly. And it's supposed to be an enhancer. It's not supposed to take over your job, So,
Correct.
and it's a useful tool to be able to unpack information. I use it all the time to unpack information and to get me to think more. So it's I'm excited to see the fact that this trend's moving into a space where it's becoming an actual tool, and who knows what that means for how marketers then have to step up their game, right?
Yes.
I think the people who are leaning into this and who are becoming more AI savvy and tech savvy on their brand and their brand information, I think they are going to easily and very quickly start running the race far better than anybody else, kind of, especially in the marketing space. So I'm excited to see how this sort of adapts into brands and how they use it.
It's going to be interesting to see how long it takes for the AI officer to appear as a key component of a marketing team.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it's around the corner, right?
It is.
You can't ignore it. It's there, and no one's quite sure what it's going to do and how it's going to do it, but it's not going away. So you kind of go, okay, how do we get a bunch of AI geniuses to help us run our business? And how does this AI component help enhance our business? There's some synergy, and the people who are doing that quicker are going to be, running away with the winnings.
And if you look at something I mentioned a little while ago, if you look at the top tech companies in the world, the likes of Google, what are the two career positions they're advertising the most?
Yeah,
they're looking for data analysts and AI engineers.
Yeah.
There it is right there. So Kevin, moving to our fifth and final trend, the ethical use of data and personalization. We note that as brands are collecting and analyzing more customer data to bring on that personalization, there's a growing need to ensure that the data strategies support the DEI proposition of diversity, equity, inclusion. And it was really, really encouraging to see this particular topic gaining such exposure at the conference, Kevin. And a number of speakers are actually emphasizing the importance of using data ethically, not just to improve marketing performance, but to avoid bias and ensure that all customers feel represented. And here the focus on data ethics must align with the larger trend in digital marketing, which is towards much more inclusive practices, Kevin. And for digital marketers looking ahead to 2025, the article notes that marketers must be mindful of the biases that can creep into AI algorithms, especially when they're trained on historical data. As brands become more data-driven, you have to ensure fairness and equity in the use of AI and data analytics. This is a key priority for 2025.
Sorry, I keep putting myself on mute here. But yeah, Craig, I think the when people lean into this, being the cornerstone of digital marketing, and I think it's because I see a lot of advertising of, create your own AI marketing business, online. People are trying to sell this as well. But I think, until you are the expert at it, it's not just about putting a few things together in ChatGPT and hoping for the best. There's far more complication to this, and really making sure that it does align with the values. It does speak to your strategy. It does personalize to exactly how you want this strategy to land. So I think it's there's a and also there's a large part, like the individuals who run businesses who are simply not au fait with what AI is doing or how it could be used. They're going to be left behind.
Yes.
We definitely need, like you say, maybe like an actual department in your business to kind of support, like, how does AI and what could AI support us doing what we do, and how do we do it better? I think that's a necessary conversation for many brands to start having, because it's there and it's not going away, and I'm here for it to see what happens.
Absolutely.
Fantastic. Are these our closing points? Right, let me just...
Yeah. In fact, yes, I do have some key takeaways for today, Kevin. Yeah, again, just I think they talk straight into the 5 trends that we've covered here, and starting with the first one, AI will remain a cornerstone of digital marketing, but it requires strategic, purpose-driven use to ensure authenticity and avoid cheapening your brand. The note on the second trend is personalization is essential, but it must be meaningful, rooted in deep understanding of your audience and aligned with your brand's values. The third point it notes in the article here is community engagement is critical for building trust and long-term customer loyalty. Social media success in 2025 will depend on genuine interactions, not just content volume. The fourth note here is simplification is key. Marketers should focus on a few core objectives that drive results rather than spreading themselves too thin across multiple platforms. And the final takeaway that the article notes is bridging the AI skills gaps will be crucial. Marketers who master AI prompting and refine their strategies will gain in a competitive advantage. And Kevin, as we move into 2025, digital marketing will definitely continue to be shaped by AI. That is a reality, by data and personalization. The fundamentals of authenticity, trust, and community building definitely are just as important. And for brands, the challenge definitely lies in balancing technology with the human touch. How to use AI to support, not replace, genuine connections.
Love it. And just to end off today with a quote, Craig, about the future, the quote reflects the optimism and visionary spirit necessary for embracing the innovations and challenges of the future. And the person who says, who gave us a quote on that is, well, she mentioned, the future belongs to those who believe in the beauty of their dreams. And that was Eleanor Roosevelt. So,
good old Eleanor.
That's right. Fantastic. Craig, thank you for today. Thanks for the insights. And yeah, I'm looking forward to the month on unpacking some what the future actually holds. I remember, mentioning to you I think it was last week or the week before, where we now know that large advertising companies and news companies out there are struggling to get valuable return for having a news channel and having an advertising company, right? And this is based off, some of the stuff in America happening where you would pay for advertising space. But it's interesting to see how that payment for advertising space has dropped so dramatically. So, and I think it's leaning into these trends where people are using different strategies and ways to advertise and market. So the future is going to be interesting on how we even receive news, because news channels are struggling.
And Kevin, remember the beauty about it is each individual with a mobile in their hand could be a news broadcaster through their own personal channels, through Facebook, through Insta, through TikTok, any of those things. So it's eliminating the need for massive setups and big production crews, and always on platforms are now in your hand, and the man in the street can very easily become a news broadcaster. Whether that's right or wrong is another conversation. But the fact that real time TikTok is gaining more traction as a validation of news source than plugging into the CNN, Skies, and BBC. So yes, that is an absolute reality.
And it's another conversation based on bias, because if you watch the debates with American politics,
yeah,
it's so biasly skewed in favor of people, and you kind of go, okay, but we just give us the unbiased version of this. So it's true, because different sources like that are going to be running the future of where we get information. But anyway, from my side, guys, please remember to like and share and tune into the Lunchtime Series every Wednesday and Thursday. From myself and Craig, have a fantastic week. Thanks for today, Craig.
Yeah, thank you, Kevin. See you next week.